past weekend, exactly. And then we've lost a very vibrant member of the media fraternity. We'll miss her.
All right. May her soul rest in peace. The school is still open, and there are nearly 100 kids together. I was there on Sunday. So this school that you people are saying, this Dara, that it's been closed, somebody is texting to say it is still open.
Well, if the Ministry of Basic Education sends a release that it's been shut down and they said it's open, then there's an issue. Then we'll have to engage the Ministry of Basic Education after this program. And
please don't brush this aside. Take this into consideration.
I mean, if that is the case, then that's a very serious situation, and which will not be acceptable.
Good morning, Uncle Peter. Please ask the Honorable Information Minister for any information on Jammeh's allegations regarding Senegal benefiting from our oil. Do we truly have oil and gas? And if so, where is it?
Well, there are two things here, Peter. One is that Gambia has oil.
We have oil.
No, I said there are two
issues here.
Okay. One is that Gambia has oil. The other is that the oil has been stolen by Senegal.
Yes.
Now, I wouldn't want to pay attention to the
latter
because, to be honest, it doesn't make sense. Anybody who knows how the oil industry works, oil cannot be stolen just like that. 1, 2. The government of His Excellency the President is a very responsible government with the interest of Gambia at heart, with a big vision to transform this country into a middle-income country. Now, you think that country will have oil and give it to another country to develop while we stay and struggle to build our country? Impossible. That is not happening. So forget about that one. Now, the other one, the former, do we have oil? Based on geological makeup of the area, they said there's a possibility that we have, but this has to be confirmed. One is to have oil and to have it in commercially viable quantities are two different things. We need to explore this possibility and get the empirical evidence that we have. In the absence of that, to be honest, it would just be speculation to say we have oil. I think we need to come and do a proper study to ascertain that, one, we have oil, and two, we have it in commercially viable quantities for us to say we have oil. For now, everything else is just speculation.
Okay. Hello, Uncle Peter. Can you ask the minister about the road of Mariama Kunda to Yuna? When are they completing the work? Because they have completed the bridge, but the work has stopped since. Asking by Mohammed Ba.
Well, Mariama Kunda to Yuna. Let me take note of that.
Well, don't worry. Silla will text you a response.
Yes, I think Silla will answer that question.
I'm sure he'll text you a response. Silla, send him a response to that so that he can get Mohammed out of his misery. Hi, Uncle Peter. The only worry I have for Ceesay is like the Gambia is problem-free because each issue raised is counted down mercilessly by him.
No, I never do that. I know there are challenges.
Exactly. I was going to ask whether you see any problems for the Gambia.
But there is no country in the world, Peter, even the most advanced countries, the Japan, the USAs, the Germans, the China, they all have their own challenges. We have challenges. But what I also would not accept is to say that the country is now not also moving. Like we are going down the drains, like some people really want to portray that the country is a failed state, it's not moving. That is false.
Failed state we are not.
And I've heard people say that. So for me, Peter, the question which I normally ask is, are we better off today than 7-8 years ago? Yes, we are better off. Okay. In every aspect, in every sector. We are moving. The country is moving. It's a country, let's look at the history, let's look at the context. 22 years of dictatorship. One man will rule and decide. The institutions were destroyed. There was no freedom of speech. There was no democracy. Now, then we have now a new democracy. We need to rebuild that country. Now, a transition from autocracy to democracy is always fraught with serious challenges, and many countries couldn't make it, they relapsed. And the World Bank and other international financial institutions have confirmed that what His Excellency is able to do in a transition within this short period, no other country in transition was able to do it. Not Rwanda, not Sierra Leone, not Liberia, not South Africa.
Not Rwanda?
No, it took Rwanda 7 years to do what we were able to achieve in 3-4 years. And that is the fact.
What were we able to achieve in 3-4 years?
In terms of the building democratic institutions, in terms of making sure that the judiciary is independent and staffed with, competent people, in terms of making sure that we hold elections periodically, free, fair elections, in terms of the developments
even when we were a dictatorship, we were holding elections
but
regularly.
the judiciary wasn't free and fair. We had to build the country in a transition, and also when the president started his vision of transforming this country, then struck COVID. So the challenges were huge. Imagine building a country in transition with COVID and 2 wars, at the same time inheriting a country.
Two wars?
Of course. The war in Ukraine and the war in Israel. Because we are in an international system.
Okay.
We supply chain bottlenecks. So imagine 2 wars at the back of a global pandemic, in a transition, with all the problems you have inherited, where there were zero investments in most of these sectors, and you have to start. I think the president has done a very good job considering these circumstances and this context. So you cannot come and tell me that the country is not moving. Look, we've built 1,000 kilometers of roads within 7 years. 1,000 kilometers of roads. We've built over 6,000